Hello, everybody. My name's Isaiah, and today we're going to be analysing Todd Lewis. Now, Todd Lewis is a predator who's darker than average. He's up there with, your Kevin Molesterbecks. Todd Lewis, you'd probably know, has been caught molesting a child before. Well, more than molesting, I guess. He was engaging in a sexual act, quite a sexual act. With a child about 5 or something years prior. And he's back at it. He's back at it. And he's driven 6 hours or something, which is a fair bit. I don't think there were too many predators who drove more than that. So he's up there in terms of vehicular distance travelled. But yeah, it's hard analysing predators who have done shit before. It really pisses me off. A little bit of backstory. Basically what happened, he'd met a girl, online in a chat room, and somehow lured her to the woods, which is very, very dark. And in the car with him, I don't know whether he forced her or whether she was compliant with it, but the girl performed oral sex on him. And it seems like the girl told the parents, and, charges were laid. Because how could he have let her go if she was not compliant? I just find it hard to believe. It kind of feels like taking a girl out to the woods. There are two reasons you'd do that. Reason one is, to get away from the public. You want to be in a quiet, secluded place. And the second reason you take someone out to the woods is because if they aren't compliant, no one will hear them scream. That's my opinion. And I feel like he was there. You go to the woods always for a quiet place. It's just whether you'd go there for that second reason too. And I feel like he was there for that second reason too. And because the girl was compliant, she went home. All was well, he thought. We'll do it again later. Yeah, it wasn't as it seemed for Todd, and the girl wasn't happy with it. But I can't remember where I read this article, but there are a few articles on him and like his family and stuff online. But it seemed like the girl was okay with it. It was just like a few days after she started to realize what had happened, and she kind of gained the courage to come out about it. But it's just unreal to think that like 13, 14-year-old girls would go out and do these kind of things. It's just like with Donald Morrison. He said he'd slept with a woman who was of age though, like 18, but still, it's unbelievable to think people this young are going for guys this old. There's just, yeah, it's just down to manipulation. You're you're taking control of the person and making them do what you want. And in a sense, even if it's consensual and it is statutory rape, in my opinion, that's just as bad. You're taking control of their mind. It's like mind control. You know what I mean? You're bending their mind to your will. But anyway, we'll continue.
Which leads us to our next visitor. We know before he ever drives up to the house that 36-year-old Todd Lewis is a registered sex offender. He's driven 6 hours.
He looks so much like Liam Neeson. He looks that much like Liam Neeson. If you just watch this part here, it'd be like the start of a Liam Neeson movie. Like, rolls up on the motorbike. He's in a
house that 36-year-old
he's in a bikie group. He's got his helmet, his leather jacket. Oh, Jesus. You know what else he looks like? Has anyone seen Sinister? He looks like the monster from Sinister there.
Lewis
Have a look at
is
that.
A registered sex offender. He's driven 6 hours from Pennsylvania.
6 hours on a motorbike. That's a long, long time. Jesus Christ. And he would have been going pretty fast too, on the highways. I'm guessing, like, through Pennsylvania. I don't know. But on a motorbike going like 100 kilometers an hour for 6 hours. Oh, that would be like the wind on your neck and face. I mean, he's covered up pretty well, but that would just be horrific, I think. Like, I don't ride motorbikes, so, but I do, honestly, I'll admit, like, a Harley Davidson is pretty cool. Um, like, I get sucked into thinking they're cool, but I wouldn't do it. I'd just be too scared of falling over. It's too much of a risk. You've got, like, these massive vehicles next to you, overtaking you. And it doesn't have to be your fault that you fall over. That's the thing. Getting on that motorbike, you have to trust everyone else on the road. And fuck off. I'm not trusting anyone else on the road. Like, idiots can get their license. Complete idiots can get them. And that's the thing. Like, even at night, especially at night after 10 p.m., if a light's green and no one's around, like, I kind of stop at that green light, because here in Australia, where I'm from at least, people go through red lights all the time, especially late at night. So, like, I'm scared going through a green light at night because a car could just straight past on the opposite lane, or sorry, on the opposite side, on the red light side, straight through and crash into me. So, like, if I'm going 60 and there's a green light ahead, I like slow down to 20 just to make sure there's like no cars. That's at like 11 p.m. at night and stuff. But like, and being on a motorbike, like, one step you're dead. But I'll be a bit of a hypocrite and say I would ride a motorbike, you know, just around the streets going like 20 or 30, because it would, you know, it looks pretty cool. It's cookie cutter. It's very cookie cutter. You know, riding motorbikes in gangs like Hell's Angels, all that kind of thing. Or there's probably a hit on me. There's probably a hit on me now for saying this, but like, it is the definition of cookie cutter. You are in a gang doing the exact same thing, wearing the same thing. It's so cookie cutter, but you know, it's cool. But yeah, I would not ride on a highway though, going like 100 kilometers an hour. It's way too dangerous.
Come on in, thanks. How was your trip? No? I've always wanted to go on a motorcycle.
I was thinking about that.
Were
Yeah.
Ooh. He looks so much like Liam Neeson. So he's thinking about that. So he was thinking about her riding on a motorcycle. Was he potentially thinking of taking her somewhere? Because, you know, on a motorcycle, thinking of taking her somewhere, was he thinking of taking her home? Thinking of taking her for a drive into the woods, potentially? I don't know, but he just admitted he was contemplating whether she would ride a motorcycle with him. So that begs the question, where would they have gone? And I don't think he's going to take her 6 hours home, because that means he'd have to take her 6 hours back. But if he did potentially want to take her home, I can tell you one thing, he's not coming back. There's no way he's going to drive 18 hours. Come on. 12 up and back, fair enough. Maybe for him he would want to do that. But I can tell you he's not taking her back. Pretty dark question. And just looking at him here, that's something from a horror movie. Look how scary he is. He's got those deep set eyes. This looks like from a horror movie. Like she's talking to a friend on the phone or something. And right now she's about to turn around and that's going to be there in the kitchen. That's scary. Fucking hell.
Wow.
He's been chatting with
Wow.
a decoy posing as a 14-year-old. Calling himself PS3 Player 178, he tells the girl he'd love it if she...
Such a bad... Oh, I'm a Sony guy. I've got a PlayStation, and that's just making us PlayStation players look like crap. I was reading on a forum too before, on GameSpot or something. People were debating like Sony or Microsoft, Xbox or PlayStation. And one of someone's arguments was a Sony player has been caught on TV trying to have sex with a little kid. So he has ruined it for us Sony players, at least in one argument.
Gave him oral sex. His girlfriend never did it. And
so that's a lie. So he just said there, you know, give me oral sex. My girlfriend never did it.
Gave him oral sex. His girlfriend never did it.
So, as we all know, he went into the forest with a girl of a minor and made her commit oral sex on him. So he's got a infatuation with oral sex. It seems to be what he desires. Now, whether that's because he's too afraid of impregnating her or too afraid of getting diseases, I mean, very unlikely that girl will have a disease, but you never know. Um, Maybe, he just is that much more into oral sex than actual sex. Um, he just doesn't even consider having normal sex. But yeah, it seems like straight off the bat, he's aiming for oral sex here, creating little lies. Maybe his girlfriend doesn't actually give him oral sex. But again, there's a pattern here. Oral sex for minors, it seems to be something he's enjoying. It seems to be something he greatly desires.
And in return, he offers to treat her.
Oh, wow. What a deal. Oh, wow. You suck my dick, I'll treat you. Here's a box of chocolates. Here's a glass of water. I'll treat you. Treat your heart. Oh my God. That is one of the worst deals. It's like in The Simpsons. Is it? No, it's Family Guy, I think, in the Family Guy. Like, you can either get a boat. Yeah, he goes to like some insurance company or something, and they say you can either get a boat or we can treat you with this mystery box. And he's like, "Oh, treat me, give me the mystery box," and it's like some ticket to like a movie or something. It's just, yeah, there's no deal in that at all. It's just he's begging, or he's just hoping that she desires him and that he has manipulated her to think that he's a good, attractive guy, good personality, and that's enough. That's all. That's all he needs to give her. And to be fair, like I'm not into all this materialism and stuff. And buying a well, what would be worse? What would be worse actually? Him treating her nicely with his personality. He doesn't have much to offer, or if he came with like $500 watch, um, or like a nice dress, or what would be worse actually? I think it would be worse to manipulate her with materialistic things. That would be worse. That would be more manipulative. That would be more sadistic. But it is it's what the girl would want though, you know what I mean? She would want like the expensive watch. That's cool, get me that. She wouldn't want a guy just to be nice. I don't know.
Well, if I would use my fingers and tongue, would be just like sex,
Oh,
but softer.
Might be cool.
those stubby little game of yeah, that little pinky, 2.5-inch pinky is just like sex.
He later makes a startling admission. He tells the decoy he's been caught before meeting a minor for sex. She was 14, and she wanted to meet for sex. I got in a lot of trouble. I'm on probation now.
And just the way he phrased that, like she was 14, she wanted to meet for sex. I got in a lot of trouble. I'm in probation now. He's framing himself as the victim. Now, predators always do this. Lorne Armstrong, keynote predator, he always does it. The way to go on in life, you can't live on as a pedophile. I believe it would be one of the hardest things to do, living on knowing that you're a pedophile. And even if you do reform some way to a normal person, someone who has those normal sexual desires of adults, I still think it would eat at you too much. So the brain, what it does is, oh, thunder. What the brain does is comes up with a way to present yourself as a victim. She forced to meet me. She kept begging, and I felt bad, and I wanted to meet her. It's just what the brain does. And I was reading some really fascinating stuff. This is completely off topic. But this guy called, I think, Michael Sherman or something, he wrote a book called Life After Death or something. And they've actually found a part of the brain. This is how sophisticated the brain is. They were researching the brain. You can prong one side of the brain and your left arm moves, and you can prong another part of the brain and your right toe moves. Well, they found a part of the brain that if you touch, it actually simulates you leaving your body. So you actually feel yourself leave your body even though you're not, but you feel that, and then you touch another part of the brain and it feels like you're returning to your body. And with near-death experiences, when people feel like they're leaving their body, or when people actually die, people do say, I'm leaving my body now. It's actually all part of the brain. Now, we can delve even deeper and say, well, what if that's actually put there to make you leave your body? You know, you've actually got to leave your body to go to heaven. We need to simulate that in the mind as you go to heaven. Maybe that's put there by God, or maybe it's just an evolutionary trait to make you accept death. You never know whether it's put there by God or whether it's just your brain putting it there too. But the brain is so complicated, and believe it or not, people will believe that they're the victim. Brain will do anything to stop someone from killing themselves. And then, you know, depression, it's just, it will overcome someone and they'll kill themselves. But, you know, it's at this point now, he's trying to get through. He's trying to, in any way, manipulate himself into thinking he's innocent. She wanted me for sex. But yeah, this whole religious stuff is really interesting. I've been looking at it a lot lately, and like, you know, the burning bush, apparently they reckon that that bush that Moses saw is highly flammable or something and has high amounts of DMT, so it acts as like a really like it acts like a psychotic drug or something. DMT, I don't know if you know what it is, but it's like a crazy drug. Like you have massive trips and things. So they reckon that bush that burned, they matched it to a certain bush in like that Middle Eastern area. And yeah, they reckon that they used to burn them to have trips. And they've dated back the word Christ now further than ever, like right back to like the Sumerians. And if you don't know about the Sumerians, look them up. It's insane. But the Sumerians, they have like this tablet, and on the tablet it's got like this sun, and around it it's like 9 or something planets, and they're all relatively shaped and relatively at different distances from the sun, but it matches up to our solar system. So these guys knew thousands of years ago stuff that we didn't know back in like the 20s and stuff, or like in the late 1800s. They knew how the planets were aligned, and they didn't have any technology. So this race of people, the Sumerians, the word Christ to them meant bush, or I think it was like fauna or flora. Sorry, not fauna's animal, flora. So this word Christ meant bush or flora covered in God's semen. So they're thinking now that Christ originated, you know, way back, and people took these psychedelic drugs to talk to God. And they thought that, you know, if we take these shrooms, these mushrooms, to portal to envision life on Earth through God's eyes. It was just insane. Like, I watched Joe Rogan. I watched a bit of Joe Rogan, and I know not many people like him, but that was interesting. I'm way off topic.
But he keeps on chatting for 5 more days. Now he seems to think that he's finally met the 14-year-old in person.
Okay, I wasn't sure what you liked, so I got you M&M's and Hershey.
Oh, nice, thanks.
I'll treat you. Bag of M&M's. Now suck my cock.
Do you want me to go get you some milk for your brownies?
That would be good.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that those brownies were left out overnight. I don't know whether it was for this guy or not, but I think it was, because I remember in the video where they talk about, well, no, Casey Morrell was talking about it. Yeah, she was saying, yeah, the brownies were left out overnight, so they were really hard. Like, he's really struggling to bite into that brownie. It's really bad.
Be right back.
Fuck, I just got poisoned. All in the name of sex.
You always so polite.
Yeah?
How's it taste?
Yes.
Now, what were you doing coming here, Tom?
I was just taking the weekend off, that's all.
Just taking the weekend off.
Who am I talking to? Can I at least ask you that?
I'll get to that in just a minute. Now, you've been down this path before, right?
You'd be so nervous now. You'd know. So this is what actually is happening. Like, your life is over. and any chance of redemption is so minuscule that you shouldn't even consider any redemption. And then you do it again, and your life is over twice as much. Like he has ruined his life before, and this just makes it even worse. You can't even comprehend how this guy would have felt. I think there's no comeback from this. Like, we say that for a pedophile who commits one crime, there's no comeback, but like, this is just off the scale. You've been caught molesting a child, then you get caught again on live TV. It's just unbelievable, and it's my worst nightmare. It is.
Yes. And tell me about that case. I've got the picture right here of you from the Megan's Law website. That's you, right?
Yes. And you can notice the fear in his voice. Like, he has no depth or no volume in his voice. He's just very submissive, sitting down, like hunched over. He can't make eye contact. And you notice he's almost at a whisper because he's choking. Like, he's literally and metaphorically being choked right now with the pressure of Chris Hansen and also the weight of the world on him, because he knows now that he's made the same mistake twice, and it's the worst mistake you can make. Pretty much one of the worst mistakes you can make. Harming a kid. I mean, come on.
What were you convicted of? It says sexual assault here. In 2003, he pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl who he had met online. The victim said he took her into the woods, engaged in kissing, and she performed oral sex on him. The girl in that case was how old? 14.
I'd be very interested for an analytical point of view as to how that occurred, because I want to know under what circumstances did she leave? How did she get him to make her leave? Because I find it very unbelievable, because this guy could be innocent. I mean, he could get away and be innocent in terms of the law. And by that I mean, not get caught. If he just made her go away. Now, that's a very, very dark side, and it comes to my mind because I'm trying to look at it at every angle. But, he could have killed her, hid the body, and gone on his way and be innocent. But instead, he let her go. She went home, told her parents, and he was convicted, charged and convicted. Now, obviously, not anyone can just kill someone, okay? I think I've been watching a bit too much Black Mirror. I finally got onto Black Mirror, watched it all up until halfway through season 4. It's insane. I'm actually up to Crocodile, the episode. But, yeah, it's interesting. You get some people who would kill to keep their status and keep themselves positive in the minds of other people. And then you get some other people who just can't do it. So what does this make this man? It's almost like he was a martyr, kind of. I mean, I'm kind of making this guy sound better than he was, but he let the girl go, and in turn he was convicted. You don't really find many people who I think that are capable of forcing a girl or manipulating a girl to perform oral sex on them at that age. They're already somewhat of a monster, and you'd think that they would complete that transition to an even darker monster and, murder the child. That's just what I think. I find it unreal, unless the girl really was, acting very well or was actually enjoying it. And he thought, I'll drop her home, she'll come back. Because there's just too much at stake. And I don't know what that says about me too, because, I would never ever do that to a kid, of course. But, if I was in that situation, if I was just plopped into his situation in the car right now, I'd be saying to myself, I'm going to take this girl home now and she's just going to tell on me. how can I do that? Like, the only alternative is to, like, make her go away, but I don't really want to do that either. It's either make her go away and be innocent. And again, with that too, like, if he murdered the girl, let's just be honest here. Forensics and detectives, they're pretty good these days. He might have gotten pinged for that and spent life in jail. So, I mean, he is a free man now. And the alternative would be a chance he could escape with it, a chance he could just have dealt with that really gruesome moment, gotten away, and lived the life with that huge burden on his shoulders, but a free man. But, you know, he would have always been looking over his back. You know, did they find the body? Did I do a good job? Did I leave my tracks hidden? So you'd have to weigh up all that. And, you know, if I was plopped in that situation, which would never have happened, you know, I can't kill someone, you know, but it would be on my mind saying that I probably, like, there's a greater chance of her, you know, telling on me and getting me convicted as a pedophile than a body being found in the middle of nowhere in the woods. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's it's a hard debate to think about, but
Same age as
it's
this
just going on in circles.
I got in a lot of trouble. I'm on probation now, so as you sit on that stool right now, you're on probation. Right. For having sex with a 14-year-old girl. For doing something with a 14-year-old girl.
You can say that, yeah.
He tells me several times he won't.
See, he says no, like he didn't have sex with the girl, but when he says no, it's almost like he's a guilty man who wants to find some innocence in himself. And there he is. He said it. No, I did not have sex. And you can see in his eyes, he feels like he's holding some face, but he's not. You know, he's just playing with words, you know, moving the goalposts around. Basically, just, you know, it's not sex, I mean, but it's still pretty bad what he did.
Answer my questions until I tell him who I am. Well, he's about to find out. You tell her you should chat with guys closer to your age.
Please. You know, unless you got cameras running here, there's no reason for this little hysterics.
Do you ever watch television?
Yes, I do.
Do you ever watch Daylight NBC?
No, never.
We have a show called To Catch a Predator.
Right.
And you're on it right now.
The funny thing is, I had a feeling.
So you had doubts. You'd been in trouble before. You knew it was wrong.
But having doubts means nothing because I think everyone has doubts. Yeah, I think everyone would have doubts doing this, surely. And whether those doubts are the moral kind of doubts, as in, oh, should I do this? It's a bad thing to do. Or doubts in terms of, oh no, there might be someone there to catch me. They're two different doubts. And I think he had doubts about people being there. That's the way the context was of the question, you know. NBC's here. Did you have any doubts? Yeah, I had a feeling someone was going to be here. You know, not at one point did he say, oh, I had a feeling it was a bad thing. I doubted I should do it. It's kind of different, but at the same time, when the question is asked, he could rephrase his answer in different ways. He's a lost cause, Liam Neeson, this guy. It's scary to think there are people that would be on probation for doing such an atrocity, looking for some redemption, and still do this.
You got on a motorcycle and drove 6 hours from Pennsylvania to get here to meet a 14-year-old girl anyway.
I was coming just for something to do.
There was nothing to do with people your own age in Pennsylvania?
I'm not allowed to go to bars, you know, stuff like that. That's what everyone my age wants to do.
Oh,
You're also not allowed to go meet
poor man, can't go to bars. Oh. That would be hard to meet girls though, because like, first of all, no one wants to like. Actually, you can't meet girls as a sex offender. Come on, there are desperate women out there, but if one of the women want to be with you, knowing that you're a sex offender, that woman must be pretty fucked up, and you wouldn't want to be with her anyway. And going back a second, what was I going to say about? I was going to say something here.
You know, stuff like that. That's what everyone my age wants to do.
Right. You're also
to bars.
People your own age in Pennsylvania?
I was coming just for something to do.
And if you were coming for something to do, this is what I want to say right now. If you need something to do, make it something as far away as possible having involvement with a kid. Nothing that involves kids. No mini golf where kids are around. No fucking jumping castle place. No freaking like kids swimming pool area. Nothing. Just fuck off. Go go watch a sports game somewhere. You don't go hang out with a kid. Okay? He cannot sit there and say that, no, we were just hanging out, because you would have to be disabled, I think, have a severe mental incapability to think that you have the right to just hang out with a kid. Even if he was, let's just say, for argument's sake, he was only going to hang out with a kid and watch TV, 100% he was only going to hang out with a kid. That's still wrong. That is still wrong, because he is on probation for sexually offending a minor. So, in any case, he's still wrong. He shouldn't be hanging out with that kid.
There's nothing to do with people your own age in Pennsylvania.
I'm not allowed to go to bars, stuff like that. That's what everyone my age
Oh,
wants
poor
to do.
me.
Right. You're also not allowed to go meet 14-year-old girls for sex, by the way, whether you're on probation or not.
Correct. That is a true fact.
Well, Todd, there's something you got to know. As I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and as I mentioned before, we're doing a story about adults who try to meet young teens online for sex. He gathers up his belongings on Twitter as he heads to the door that his troubles have only just begun. This registered sex offender is about to get arrested again. Police!
Yeah. his head gets pummeled right into the corner. Watch his head
Sex
here.
offender is about to get
That is
arrested
great.
again.
Wait. It's right in the corner. His hand's on his head. I know that's how you make an arrest. You put their hand down, you lift their arms up. But it's pushed. It's like when on a comedy show when there's a pie at the table and the guy pushes the guy's face into the pie. That's what it's like. He not only does he have pie on his face metaphorically, but now he's got garden on his face. Literally exactly like a pie face.
And there's one more potential predator.
But I want to see this actually. This is good.
37-year-old.
This is so funny. I love this bit.
But I think
Where is it?
I need to tell you something first. That's I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Where's the bit where he falls?
We call for it.
Oh, that is so. That is one of the funniest things. Oh, that is. Imagine if he broke his neck or something. Oh. Anyway, guys, that's Todd Lewis. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.